Sunday, happy Sunday.
Yes.
Hey, us,
Hey, hey, Lamar, how is you?
girl. I am just cruising through, cruising
Yeah.
by,
Yeah.
by.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. I
Just,
know. I
just,
already know. Yeah, you can tell them about it though.
just, being thankful and grateful
Yeah. Every day.
every day. Every,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, how's
girl.
Charlie doing?
He is hanging in there, child. Hanging
Yeah.
in there. Still trying to get himself back together from, you know, our eventful past week.
Uh-huh.
Still trying to get himself together.
Yeah.
So, I'm just giving him the space and time he needs to rest and recuperate, get his stuff together, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely been a
Yeah.
journey. Definitely been a journey.
I know
Yeah.
it's been
Hey,
hard.
Angel, thank you for coming in.
Hey,
Yeah.
polite.
Yeah. So how's your weekend been going? I know you had something going on yesterday. How'd that go?
It went great. It went great. Yep, I sang with like a Yoruba chant group is what they was calling us.
Okay.
And yeah, so we did a couple of songs.
Okay.
Um yeah,
Okay.
it was like a whole event. That's a shame. I had the thing somewhere, like the program, but it was called the Breath of Life, the Breath of Heaven.
Nice.
And it was at this church off of off of what's that? Gowan Avenue
Oh, okay.
in Mount
Okay.
Airy.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a beautiful event. Yeah, it was like this jazz kind of thing that was going on, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Nice.
I'm so honored to have been asked to even be a part of it all. And
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it was awesome. And I went to a gala on Friday, and that
Ooh,
was with the Empowerment CDC. Um,
fancy.
they do like so my son had went he internship with them over the summer.
Okay.
And yeah, and that was really nice too. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah, but yeah, so you see, look, I even did my hair,
I
you
see.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking fab. Looking fab. Excited to be here on this Sunday. Want
Yeah.
to take time to welcome everybody in for Sister Talk today. Last
Mhm.
week we had to take off, due to unfortunate circumstances, but we are back. We are here. We are blessed, and we
Yeah.
are grateful to be here for another Sister Talk
Mhm.
Sunday.
Yes,
Lord,
ma'am.
have mercy, Jesus. So,
Oh,
whew, yeah, yeah. When I say these days be hitting a little different, they be hitting a little different. They be hitting a little different, you know.
yeah.
Yep. So I'm
Mhm.
I'm in, I'm in like a new like frame of mind. So you know,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
You are so
um,
strong and so powerful because, it'd be like to be going through all the things you go through, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and you still, you show up, you know what I mean? You still here, you stay committed.
girl, that's why I
Mhm.
always got my armor on. I always got my armor on because I never know. Never know, boy.
Mhm.
Stuff be hitting left and right. I gotta keep that shield and that armor on, boy. Because if I
Yeah.
don't, boy, I'll be done crumpled like a piece
Yeah.
of so I gotta keep that armor on at all times. Cause man, listen,
Yeah.
God is
Have you
all
been
I
back to
know.
work?
Yes, I have been back to
Okay.
work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was, off and on this week because he had just got out of the hospital Wednesday, so I was,
Yeah.
off one day, in and out a couple days. But yeah, so
Mhm.
he's home. He's resting.
Um,
So just doing what he need to do to get his
Yeah,
together.
that's good. Yeah, he needs to rest.
Yeah, so definitely needs to rest. Definitely needs to rest.
Mhm.
Whew, yeah, yeah, yeah. But you had an exciting weekend. Glad that you had fun and enjoyed all the
Yeah.
dancing and singing and stuff. So happy
Yeah.
for you. Happy for you. Yeah. Whew, child. So for all of our listeners today, we are just doing a little catch up on our week. I don't know if people was following along for my last live, which was tea time, but I kind of gave y'all a little update on what's been happening. So if y'all get a chance, check out Tea Time with TB from Thursday, and y'all get a little heads up
Mhm.
of what's been going on in TB's life. But
Yes.
today we're going to dive into a powerful conversation today.
Mhm.
Um, this one is like it's kind of the intersection of like our identity, with our dignity, our liberation, and it is about the Crown Act. So I don't know how many of our listeners have actually heard about the Crown Act. You said, are you going to share how our mind has changed after? Oh, yep, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to be getting a little bit more into that age. Yeah. But I appreciate you for being here, my mind with the moves. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the Crown Act. I don't know if people actually ever heard of the Crown Act. Um, it's about like creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. All right,
Mhm.
so that's what Crown is. But we're gonna go a little bit and more into it. So this act was like created to protect Black people, right?
Mhm.
From discrimination based on our natural hair and our protective styles, right? So, our hair always been more than hair. It's been like our history, right? It's been our culture, it's been our identity, it's been our expression. Like I could just think about times like in my teens and 20s, how my hair was definitely my identity. Like I was very
Mhm.
expressible about my hair. I would wear all
Mhm.
different types of ways. Like I would style it like every way. Like every week I had to have my hair different because that was
The
who I
first
was.
thing the first thing popped into my head was stacks. It
Stacks.
was
Yeah.
stacks, yes.
Stacks, stacks for days, stacks for
Had the
days.
salt pepper, one side short, one side long.
Okay. Had the hair slicked back with the gel and the high
Yes,
ponytails and
yes,
stuff.
the figure waves.
Girl,
Yeah.
oh my God. Thank you for coming in, Riker Anchor. Yeah, so I just think about like all the different ways that I used to love to wear my hair. So we don't want to actually like dive deep into what the Crown Act is, right? Like why we need it, share some of our personal hair stories, and how we can continue to fight for like our hair freedom, right?
Right.
Because like hair is literally about our roots, right?
Mhm.
Literally and like spiritually, as
Right.
we talk. Right, right. Like that was about your hair being your crown and glory and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about. So the Crown Act was actually created back in 2019, right? To
Mhm.
end like the race-based stereotypes and discrimination when it comes
Right.
to our hair, right? So that includes
Mhm.
like our natural hair, like our locks, our braids, our twists, our afros. Like,
Mhm.
because especially with Black hair, like we're very expressionable with our hair. And we like to
Yeah.
wear it all different type of ways, right? But what's
Mhm.
crazy to me is that we actually need a law for us to say, whether or not we can do that with our hair. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, Lord have mercy. That says a lot for our world that they got to actually like pass the law to say, okay, you should not discriminate for how people wear their hair, right?
Exactly.
And especially like for like decades, like Black people, especially Black women, right? We've had to like straighten our hair, right? Like fry it. Like go talk about like slicking it down, like
Yep.
for me, like listen, all kinds of ways, right? We've had to do all these different
Mhm.
things to our hair to like fit into
Mhm.
like the schools, fit into like workplaces and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, because
Because
being told that our natural hair, the way that our hair naturally grows out of our head, is inappropriate.
absolutely, absolutely. Right. Yeah, it's like why do you think like our hair been so heavily policed like by American culture? Like they literally be like all up in your hair, like trying to like tell you what you can and cannot do with your hair. Just trim
Yeah.
my hair down for a edition that doesn't match me, doesn't make it fun. Exactly. Right? Right. It's like they be like policing our hair, right? It's like the society don't really understand like our hair journey, how deep our hair goes, our roots. And it's like, why do we feel like that hair has to be like so political? Like, you
Mhm.
can't do this, you can't do that. If your hair is not a certain way, you're not taken seriously, or people not respecting you and things
Yeah,
like that.
you're not getting hired.
You got exactly, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, as I said, back in like the slavery days, they used to actually shave our heads
Mhm.
as a form of control, right?
Yeah.
They would literally shave our heads as a form of control. And then it went from shaving our heads, right, to
Mhm.
actually making us straighten it out, right? So that way
Mhm.
it can be accepted. Like the straighter your hair was, the more you were accepted into society. Like you couldn't never have like your natural hair, right?
Mhm.
And
So
then
much that it became a thing in our own community in the way that we would insult each other. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely,
Oh, you come around here with that nappy hair, or
ab-
talking about people having BDBs and all of that stuff. Like, it was such a horrible thing.
exactly. Yeah, it's like they started like creating perms and stuff, and had the hot combs, and gotta always
Mhm.
use the hair hot curling irons and stuff on your hair. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh
People
man,
getting perms, little baby perms at 2 or 3 years old. They already perming the hair.
kitty perms.
Yeah, kitty perms. Yeah, yeah,
What a professor says, look down on natural hair. It seems exactly like they call your hair nappy and stuff like that, right? Like I can
yeah.
think of like because especially like we always had like thicker, healthy hair, especially growing up.
Mhm.
And I can remember how like overly like healthy thick my hair was, like real
Mhm.
healthy thick, right? To the where
Mhm.
mommy would have to like wash my hair and then like press it while it was wet so it didn't
Mhm.
dry, and then it made it like real hard to like manage to get through my hair because it was just so thick, and she would literally
Uh-huh.
have to press it while it was wet, and,
Yeah.
and put the crown hair grease in it, all that stuff. And I remember
Mhm.
sitting for hours just getting her to do like my hair and stuff, right?
Mhm.
So talking about the hair journey, like definitely like hits home for me, and I know it definitely hits home for you.
Yes,
So
it
it's like
does.
so what is your first like hair memory, your first hair memory that you remember about your hair?
My hair? I mean, well, when I was, little, because I was with, I remember, being with my dad. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and my dad, like, used to always, he had learned how to braid. It was like Easter, and it was like this woman was supposed to do my hair for him, but they ended up getting into, something, and so, she didn't come around, and so my dad spent all night learning how to braid, and he braided my hair up into and like, connected the braids and made me a crown on the top of my head.
uh, uh,
Yeah, I was probably like, I don't know, maybe I was somewhere between 3, 4, or 5 years old. You know, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I remember that. And then coming to mommy after that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I remember like just having like that, like just long, thick hair. That had always seemed hard to manage because it was
mm-hmm,
just so much of it. You
mm-hmm,
know.
mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I remember mommy putting my hair in ponytails. I remember her putting butter in my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
That was
thing.
her staple. That was her staple, putting butter in her hair. Smelling like some butter walking around here. Oh my God. Oh my God. I remember always smelling like butter. If it wasn't the butter, then it was like the Crown, like hair pressing grease that she would put like when she pressed it. But if she wasn't pressing, like I said, she would do the butter herself. So I guess back in those days, the butter was
Yeah.
supposed to be so nutrient filled that it was supposed to be like healthy for our hair. Because our hair was very thick and strong
You
and
had
healthy.
some thick hair,
And that
yeah,
butter
some
was
thick
doing
hair.
something to our hair.
Yeah. Yeah, but then I remember, so I was 8 though, the first time, because that was like Jerry curls that came out
Yeah,
and
oh,
stuff. And so
oh.
I remember everybody was getting a Jerry curl, and so mommy wanted to put the stuff in my hair too. And my hair
Mhm,
was forever changed after that. And my dad was so mad. Oh,
mhm,
he was
mhm,
so mad because a lot of my hair had broke off and everything and stuff, you know what I mean? But that was like the first time having some kind of chemicals in my hair, and it seemed like, because people, would do that thinking that that's going to make the hair more manageable. And
mhm.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because like say, because we had that thick type of hair. It was a lot, and even
mhm.
like once I had got older, just like, dealing with that, yeah, but that's why I ended up with locks, but you was asking me about my first time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause, right when I can remember being really young, learning how to like do my own hair. Then cause I always been good at like braiding, doing hair, and
Yeah.
I would do your hair. I would do our other sister's hair. Like I would be like the hair manager, making
Yep.
sure our hair was done. And then it was when I learned how to like clip and do stacks and do all that other fancy stuff. Child, it was over. It was over. It
I
was
was like
over.
your mannequin because I remember you cutting on my hair a lot. And I was probably like 10.
You had stacks that high when you was like 10 years old. Stack.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
would definitely try out a lot of styles on your hair.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
And I would
Yeah,
definitely experiment on my own hair too, right?
yeah.
Yeah, because I think about it, I was like, have we ever been like really taught to take care of our hair when we were growing up? Like, because
No.
I don't remember being taught to be take care of my hair. It was just something that I just adapted, right?
Exactly, exactly. Like I remember when like when I had first got to Virginia when I was 5, and like I remember like you finally, doing my hair. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like I don't remember mommy doing my hair around that time. It's probably like a little bit later, like I feel like I was around 6 or 7. You know what I mean? But it seemed like you was doing my hair first.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could definitely take care of y'all. Make sure y'all hair was done and all that good stuff. When you're going to
Yeah.
school and all that. Yeah, yeah. I just remember Jackie having a harder time with hair because you and I we had like that gift of growth, so our hair would just grow and grow and grow and grow.
Yeah.
And she was really like struggling like with her hair growth and stuff. So she was
Mhm.
like with a complex behind it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I was
started.
starting with the chemicals though too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like and just like you said, not really knowing how to take care of her hair. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, none of us really knew how to take care of it, our
Mm-hmm.
hair and stuff. But yeah, I remember she definitely had a struggle. And like you said, it became a thing, because, they feel like, like hair growth, she was equating that to like her self-value.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It really started to become obsessive. Like I just feel like when people are obsessing, like with the stereotypical idea of what hair should look like, especially for Black women, like that's
Mhm.
it starts to become a thing where, oh my God, I gotta make sure I have all these long weaves in my hair, or gotta dye my hair blonde, all this stuff. That's how I think when all that stuff coming too, when you really not embracing your hair, not
Yeah.
embracing your hair, right? Yeah. So that leads me to my question. So,
Mhm.
like, have you ever like been judged or mistreated because of a style that you wore with your hair?
Yeah, and so I was just thinking about that because when so I think that was part of, because, as you know, I was in the military. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that maybe that's why, it seemed like they expected, at least, when I was in the late 90s, and I was in the army, and, being down in Georgia, Fort Benning, Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
um, it seemed like they expected everyone to have their hair slicked back ponytail, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and maybe it was to avoid all of that, what I mean, stuff, like you was just talking about, or something, what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's like, but in the rule book, what I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't say that in the rule book. It just says, as long as your hair isn't, past your eyebrows, like your eyebrows have to be able to be seen. So I'm like,
Okay.
okay, I can have hair here. I can
Right.
have hair here. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? It's nothing that say like your ears, what I mean, can't be covered or anything. And so so it was like, like I cut a bang. And I would wear, like, some hair down on the side and then put the rest in a ponytail.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it would be women that would approach me, "You're not supposed to have your hair like that." And I would be
Mm.
like, "Oh, like there's nothing," what I'm saying, like I would speak back up against that
Mm-hmm.
because, I'm like, "Well, the rule book says this," what I mean? And like, girl, it got to a point to where I had made a copy of
Mm.
that page, what I mean, in the rule book, just
Wow.
so I could pull it out of my pocket and be like, well, look, this says that, what I mean? And it was
Wow.
really easy for me to just wrap my hair, what I mean, at night, and then in the morning, just, unwrap it, take that down, pull it back into a ponytail, and she
Mm-hmm.
like, but it just gave the feeling of like they wanted you to be like more grungy or, what I'm saying,
Mm.
or sometimes they would be like, oh, you think this a fashion show? And it's like, what? I mean,
What?
like I'm just doing what's comfortable for me and not breaking any rules. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
But but yeah, and there was a few times where I ended up getting in trouble because of that, what I mean, because I had a nerve to speak up for myself, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I guess they felt like it was something so simple, like just put it in a ponytail. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
but why? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I
Right.
don't have to, what I mean, and I'm choosing, this, like, why is it bothering you so much? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I want to say, like, it was times like I had like lost, like had my weekend taken away, got put on extra duty and type stuff, you know what I mean? Because I didn't like do push-ups when somebody told me to, because I spoke
Wow.
back, what I mean, about, what I mean, how I knew it was okay for me to wear my hair. You know what I mean? Like
Wow.
I remember I used to just be like so mad because it was like this is such a like, like why is it such a big deal? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And
Right.
and that wasn't so much about like the texture or whatever, but it was just the style that I
Yes.
was
Wow.
wearing. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, what I mean, like as a, like I had a nerve, and I was like, look, like I'm not breaking the rule, I don't know. I just had that rebellious nature, you know what I mean? A little
Stop.
bit.
Listen. Listen.
So,
I
yeah.
I grew up with you, honey. I know. I know how you get when you just stand firm or something.
Yeah, and I feel like the more that somebody had something to say about it, then it was like, okay, like, all right, like I was making sure my hair was good so I could wear my bang. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and then it got to a point to where I had cut all my hair in a bob so that now I'm just wearing it down every day. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't even put it in a ponytail, you know. Yep,
Right.
and it's like, yeah, and throw my hat on. It's like, yeah, like I'm not breaking any rules. Hair was just like this, and had it in like a cute little bob. It was cute, you know. Yep, yep. But like I said, it was. I feel like it might have been a couple times. It might have been, like a sergeant or something that might say something. You know what I mean? Because it just seemed like that wasn't something that women were really doing. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Most people was just following the rules. They say put it back in a ponytail. You put it back in a ponytail,
right.
you know,
Right.
and
Yeah.
stuff, or cut it really short, you know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. So is that when you finally felt free in your hair, or did it come like after that?
Um, oh yeah, even more after that. Oh my God, Mika, I got some stories because so after I came out of the military, I was modeling, and
Hmm.
so um, what was that? So like, and I decided, that I was going to stop perming my hair.
Mhm.
And girl, so I was like letting my hair grow out, and it was like this afro with this like straight hair. You know what I mean? And my hair was kind of looking crazy. I was doing the best I could,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
but so like one day I had like straightened my hair and I had went up to the agency and the director saw my hair straight and he was just like, "That's how I want your hair from now on every time you work with me." Every time do stuff with me. And I went and I cut all my hair off. I went home and girl, he didn't book me for no more jobs. I was like, damn. Yeah, but like I said, that hard headed stuff, I was like, man, I gotta find an agency where it's okay to have an afro, you know what I mean? But
Okay.
yeah, and then just even when I was like cutting my hair, I was, around some family members that was like, like Janae having a nervous breakdown. And it was like, what? Like, no, like I was fine. I knew exactly what I was doing, you know what I mean? I just knew that I was just ready. I had been growing my hair, you know, I had
Uh-huh.
started. It had been like 9 months since I had a perm. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so, it's like a lot of people just do like just a big chop, as they call it. But I was trying
Mhm.
to grow it out because I had never worn my hair that short before. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I was just so used to always having long hair. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but I was like, but like I said, when I would wash it, it was literally just like an afro with this like stringy hair on the ends of the afro. And so I finally just was cutting off all the stringy hair and and chopped it up. I butchered it. I had to go to like a barber shop. I didn't even know where to go for like because that just wasn't a thing back then.
It
You know
definitely
what I'm
was.
saying? So I went to a barber shop and was like, "Can you just like clean up my fro?" You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and so it was even shorter. And but yeah, it's like, man, like everything had just felt, it seemed like the world just felt different to me after that. You know what I mean? But I had noticed, I really noticed it from the type of men that was approaching me. Like for one, that was the
Mm.
first time that a guy with locks had ever approached me.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
I was like, okay, you know what I mean? Like the more natural type of guys had started noticing me. They had
Mhm.
never, you know what I mean? But like, it was like, but like them other guys, polo shirt, K Swiss wearing type dudes,
Mhm. Mhm.
it was like, it was that used to would approach me, you know what I mean? Approach me all the time. I didn't, it was like I
I'm
disappeared from their
crying.
radar.
I'm
I disappeared
crying.
completely from their radar. You know how it's like guys that like light skinned, long hair girls?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's like
Yes.
a type, I mean, that used to approach me. Like I said, once I cut my hair off, they didn't even see me anymore. But
Mhm. Mm.
men of other races, white guys, Asian guys, Indian guys. I would be hearing like, "Oh, I love your hair. I love your hair." You know what I mean?
Mm.
So a whole new world had opened up. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
and so it was just different. The things that I was noticing, and most of the time, most of the insults came from other black women,
Of course. Of
other
course.
black women
Of
that
course.
would
Of
be that
course.
would be right beside me whispering to themselves like, look at her over there, look at her, you know what I mean, like, like look at her with an afro, or she think this is 1970s.
Stop.
I was like, dang, you know what I mean? It was a black woman that because I was looking into getting into real estate and stuff, and she was
Mhm.
like, oh, like, well, but what are you going to do about your hair? And it was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? It was just always, yes, yes. And that was when I had the fro and once I had locked my hair. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Yep, yep. And when I was in school, because I in my early 20s, I had a hard time trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Well, dang, I do a lot of things now, but
Yeah.
at that time, I was going to school for a medical assistant. For
Mhm.
and my hair was natural. I was wearing it in twists and plaits and all this stuff and everything, and it had grew out a lot. You know what I mean? By then, so I was wearing all these little cute little styles and stuff. And in medical assistant school, straight A student. And one of the teachers had told me, we had come to, like a point where it's like an interview process.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me if I came to school for the interview with my hair natural, that I was going to get a B instead of an A. And I
Wow.
was just like, wow. When I tell you I was brokenhearted about that, and then she says to me, because she's a sister with natural hair, she's like, and I'm saying this to you as a sister with natural hair. If you come to school, if you come, for your interview with your hair natural, she was like, she said, you're gonna get a B. Like, because she knew, like, I mean, I was a straight A student, you know what I'm saying? And she knew like how much my grades was meaning to me. And so after I went home and cried about it, I went to my cousin and I let my cousin straighten my hair. That was the first time I had had my hair straightened. And for like since I had cut all the straight hair off. You know what I mean? And but I was thinking like, okay, just straightening it shouldn't be, that big a deal. You know what I mean? It still be natural and all of this stuff. Well, girl, my afro was not even the same after that. My afro was not the same, you know what I mean? So, so it's like when your hair is natural and then you like straighten it and stuff. Because I didn't know about heat damage back then. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know about it, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, it
Mm-hmm.
was it was really heartbreaking. It really broke my heart. And I was like, man, like I should have just went on and, what I mean, just took the B, what I mean, stood strong, was like, look, I'm wearing my natural, what I mean,
Right.
regardless and
Mm.
stuff, what I mean. But I really, she was, I don't want to say I was talked into it, what I mean, because it was still my decision. But,
Mm-hmm.
she was all like, oh, it's just for the one day, what I'm saying, to keep your A, what I mean, type thing and stuff. But
Mm.
yeah, I had to straighten my hair because she was like, so said that it would be inappropriate. It's considered inappropriate, to wear your hair natural, at work or like on an
Girl,
interview.
girl.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep,
That,
yep. I
I'm
couldn't believe it.
I'm still processing the part that you said. Sis had natural hair. Sis had
Yes,
natural
she
hair and
had
said,
natural hair. Yes, yes, because she was like, and she was telling me that was her way of being like, look, girl, I get it. You know what I'm saying? She's like, look, I get it. You know what I'm saying? And she wore her hair in twists and everything and stuff. She was like, but she said it was the same thing for her. She said if she was to go on an interview or something, that's what would be expected. You know what I mean? Like
hmm.
that's what, and I was just like, yeah, I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? And I was mad. I was mad and was feeling like, see, like, wishing, you know what I mean? I was thinking like, all right, if I had a white teacher, maybe she'd have been more understanding. And, you know what I mean? As
Mm-hmm.
long as it's, what I'm saying, managed or something, you know what I mean? But her being a sister and being like, if your hair is not straightened, she said, because I was saying everything. I was like, all right, well, like, what if I just, pull it back into a nice tight ponytail? She was like, she said, if your hair, she said, if it's not straightened, she was like, she said, it's just considered inappropriate. I couldn't believe
Wow.
it. I couldn't believe
Wow.
it. And,
Wow.
and that was, I didn't know who to talk to about it, who to go to, or, what I'm saying? It was just like, wow, like this is what I have to do. You know what I mean? In order to maintain, my 4.0 average, you know. Yeah. So I
Mm.
straightened it and I was mad at myself afterwards too.
Girl.
I was just mad. I was upset, but I was like, I was young, you know what I'm saying? I really didn't know like how to handle it, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like, and I already got in, like I said, I had dealt with that type situations like that for years, getting in trouble over my hair, you know what I'm saying? And, it was just like, wow, you know what I mean? Like I say, I didn't want to mess up my GPA. Like that,
Girl.
'cause she was, yeah, because she was saying that she was like, well, like you can do what you want, you know what I mean, but then I'm gonna have to do what I have to do, kind of thing. And I was like,
That's
dang,
cute.
yeah, yeah. And it
What?
was like 2 days before, so it wasn't like I had like a heads up or had like time, what I'm saying, to maybe do some research, try to talk to somebody. It was like 2 days before the interviews. Yeah, I was like,
Girl.
wow,
That's wild to me. That is
yeah.
wild to me.
Hmm.
Like I could think of like maybe 20s, 30s, like because of the stereotypical society that we have, especially when it comes to black women and their hair.
Mhm.
It took me a long time to even want to like put braids in my hair and things like that. I know
Mhm.
mommy used to do when we were younger. When I got older, I never wanted to wear braids in my hair. I would be like, I'm not putting no braids in my hair. Like I would do like the frying and dyeing and the gelling and then
Yeah.
I'll do like the simulated braiding, like pull it all up in a ponytail and then have simulated braids coming down. But I would never would like braided, like because to me braiding felt more permanent. And I like the styles where I could just take the braid out or something like that, like the pony braid or something like that. It took me a long time
Mhm.
to start like understanding and accepting. Like, listen, my hair is my crown and my glory. Like I can wear my hair how I want to. So I was always getting it pressed. Like I had stayed away from the perms. Like you said, talk about how the perms will like break your hair and stuff. Like it started changing my texture of my hair and things started like I started just noticing my hair was just not like healthy. So I started letting it grow out, right? And then it's like,
Mhm.
okay, let me get like do the pressing. Then I'm like, oh, let me start putting color in my hair. Then the color start
Mhm.
messing with it. I was like, oh my god, like it's like really doing a lot with
Mhm.
my hair. Like when you start doing all this stuff to your hair, it really messes up your hair, your follicles, all this stuff because your hair is not supposed to
Yeah.
go through all those processes. So when I finally decided to start growing it out and not getting like any more heat put into it is just when I
Mhm.
started twisting it. But for a long time, I was instead of getting it like putting relaxers and stuff, which I had stopped doing, stopped coloring, I would get it like what you call it, washed, conditioned, and then like heated with like the dryer, like till it was
Mhm.
like bone straight. But that
Yeah.
heat was like setting my
Heat
scalp
press.
on fire. It was
Yes.
setting my
Yeah, like
scalp
that
on
heat
fire.
press. I'm sorry, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that like so like cause my girls like my daughters, it wasn't until they graduated high school before they started putting heat and stuff in their hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just would not and I was like, yo, I just did not want them doing that. It was like, just trying to keep them as natural as I could. You know what I mean? Once they got, like, old enough, it was like, all right, like, well, now it's on you,
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, but I was like really trying to get them to understand that the heat damage, chemical damage
Mm.
and stuff, you
Yes.
know what I'm saying? You know what I
Yes.
mean? On natural hair. Cause I was like, look, like after that, I was like, my hair, my afro was not the same
Mm-hmm.
after that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she was saying like, oh, it's just one day. I was like, just the heat, it seemed like my hair, it did something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it altered, what I mean, my hair texture.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the same after that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah, it's like, the longer you can, what I mean, like just avoiding that stuff, the better. And now what's crazy because, we're learning that even with like the synthetic hair, how it has like all these like cancer, what I mean, carcinogens and stuff like that in it. So it's like, that's not good for you either.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's so much to have to be careful about.
Oh, girl. Let me tell you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so, yeah. Back in the day, in my late teens and 20s, if I look at pictures, you can see your mom had all kind of style, child. But
I need to show her some. I got a bunch of
I know your auntie got a bunch of them, but Coker, you could tell me every week my hair had to look different every week. I ain't playing about my hair. But it went through a lot of processes though. My hair went through a lot of different processes, different stages of my life or where I was. She said, "You want to see?" I
them.
know you do. My hair went through a lot of processes, right? And I think it was a lot of because of the society, like what seemed normal, what was acceptable, was how I was kind of wearing my hair. Although I would do like cute stuff to my hair, but like, okay, I'm not gonna go too extreme because then people gonna be looking at me like, oh, she ghetto. I always had a complex.
Mhm.
My name is Tamika, so I always had that complex, right? Like as soon as
Mhm.
you think of ghetto, and I'm like, I ain't nowhere near ghetto, never been, right?
Mhm.
But I was like, if I start wearing my hair, then I really will fall into that stereotypical, type of
Mhm.
view that society sees me, right? So like my hair went through a lot of different changes, but I always felt the need to have my hair in some kind of straightened capacity. Even though I wasn't doing relaxers, then I would do the flat ironing, or I would do like the heat with the blow drying. I had to literally stop doing the heat with the blow dry because I would go like to the Dominicans, and that's all they do. They keep your hair bone straight with the heat. And I just started noticing it was like frying in my hair follicles, like literally frying my
Yeah.
hair follicles. Like my hair like would stop growing in places and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God, what is happening to my
Yeah.
hair? Like all my long, luscious locks was like being spared. I was like, why is my hair like not like thick in the area no more? I had to
Mhm.
stop literally going to them, right? So I started going to like another hairdresser, and she was like, "You're gonna have to literally like start over a lot with your hair." And she just like
Mm.
started cutting. I remember I get my hair chopped like really, really like short, really short. I had like
Mhm.
this real short. It came like barely below my ears, right? Real
Mhm.
short
And you
style,
had always had long hair.
style. But I had to like
Mhm.
cut it off to just to start like fresh. Then I
Mhm.
started embracing like my short little cute style. But because I wasn't put like the heat and stuff in it like I was, it started growing back. It started growing back. It started
Mhm.
growing back. Right.
Yeah.
But then I got into like my mid 40s and stuff. It's like, okay, all right, I started going through some shifts, like with my hair. Like that's at this time, I'm noticing more people are locking their hair. Right? You started locking your hair like a while ago, right? And I remember when we talked about like when you were doing your afro. So I had that distinct memory of the time when you were in the bathroom chopping your hair off, right? I kept home
Yeah.
like, and I'm like, ah! like, I see all this hair like in my toy. I'm like, what are you doing? He was like, oh man, I remember that moment so much. And you was like, oh man, you was like, listen, I had to cut this. I was like, Lord have mercy. Like,
Yeah.
just make sure you
I think that was the second time I was trying to fix it.
oh yeah, I definitely remember that. I was like, it wasn't the fact that you were cutting your hair, it was just like, ah, my darling. Oh man, child. I was like, all the memories.
Like
But
that was like 1999, like the end of '99.
yep, it was definitely before like 2000. Antonio was born in 2001, so it was way before he was born.
Yeah,
But yeah, I remember that child. Oh yeah, I was like, oh my God. But
yeah.
but back
It was
then,
liberating. I just gotta say that. When I say it was so liberating to just be able to like cut all my hair off and just be like, wow. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because it was like, like I said, all the different hairstyles and you know what I mean, all the things, and for it to just be gone, it was like, whoa, you know what I mean? Because you know how many times I had like, walk past my reflection and look at my reflection and done like this because I used to always had the bangs
yeah,
and just like fix my bang, you know what I mean? Fix the hair or something like that and stuff. And so it was just like, it was just very liberating. I
yeah,
think everybody should do it at least one time.
girl.
Cut it all off.
Oh, that yeah. I think my
Yes.
cut it off moment was when I cut it like really, really short. But it ended up being cute. I made
Yeah.
the style real cute. Um,
Yeah.
but it grew back since then though. But it's like, but
Mhm.
the older I got, I started to want to embrace like my naturalness, my naturalness. I was like, one, I was getting tired of flat ironing my hair.
Mhm.
That was getting stressful. Like every morning,
Mhm.
like, okay, let me make sure this hair is in place. Let me do this in the place. Like it was getting stressful. It was getting stressful because it takes a lot of maintenance to keep your hair straightened and you want to do these cute little style, making sure your hair is laid back and just perfect all the time.
Mhm.
It was just starting to get annoying. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try getting it braided. The first time I got my hair braided, I was like, wow, okay. Like, all right, that felt a little good, you know.
Mhm.
But I was still like on a fence. Like I was like, okay, like I want to get it braided, but in a way where like I can like get what they call like the loops and stuff, you know. So
Mhm.
that simulated braided look and stuff like that, you know. And for the first time when I finally like broke down and was like, all right, braid it all in, just go right from my roots and braid it all in. I regretted that. I regret that moment. I regret that moment
Wow.
because
Why?
because my hair was stronger when I was doing it as a protective style and like
Mhm.
getting it braided and then like adding in it like to loop to have that simulated like braid in my hair.
Mhm.
Because once I started putting it like the braid like going right from my scalp, because all the
Mhm.
transitions my hair was going through with like the heat and the pressing and stuff, my hair when my roots were not as strong enough to hold it. So I started noticing like it was like making my hair weaker and weaker.
Wow.
But
Mhm.
so
And then with your age and stuff too,
right,
and I mean,
right,
a lot of changes and stuff start because I started noticing that about myself too with my hair. Like even though, like my hair is still thick, it was thicker.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You know what I mean? Like I noticed that even like some of my locks, you know what I mean, that be like I'd be like, wow, this lock is like really thin, you know what I mean? It wasn't that thin, like years ago.
Mhm.
But you know what I mean? So it's like our hair and stuff, you know what I mean, it changes with age
Yeah,
and stuff, you know what I mean, too. So it's like like you said, you gotta be even more careful with the things that you do to it and put in it.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Hmm.
So after that time that I was like, oh my God, I was like, my hair is thin. Like I'm like little pieces of braids start falling. I was like, ah! I was like, oh, listen.
Hmm.
After that, I was like, nope. And that's when I just said, all right. I was like, I got to try to salvage the rest of my hair because I'm getting older and my hair is starting to get thinner. I don't have that real thick
Hmm.
hair that I used to have. So that's when I just started like washing and just started twisting. I think it helped a lot when pandemic hit because that
Hmm.
was shut down. And it was like when you really couldn't go to the hairdresser, it
Right.
was made it impossible for you to do a lot of different things with your hair. So I just said start experimenting. I just started like washing it, putting deep condition in it, and just start twisting it. Start twisting. I was like, okay, I'm
Hmm.
kind of feeling this, right? And then
Yeah.
the world started opening back up. Then I went back to, oh, let me flat iron again. But I didn't like it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right anymore. So
Mhm.
then I finally like committed to like, let me just start twisting it up, twisting it up, twisting it up, twist it up. So that's what I've been doing ever since. But now like it's like starting to lock in on me now. So I'm like,
Mhm.
so now I just have to keep trying to maintain it. But I just think
Uh-huh.
about the times where I would never, ever, ever have thought about locking my hair, twisting my hair,
Mhm.
like doing all the natural stuff that I'm doing to it now. I'd have never thought about it because back then
Right.
it didn't even seem acceptable. And then people would look at it
Exactly.
different, you know?
Yep.
But it's become so
Mhm.
normalized now that like people that I know from like years ago that will probably never like wear locks and twists in their hair or like lock it in. I'm like, wow. So it's become normalized. It's become normalized. I
Yeah.
think a lot of it has been due to like the Crown Act coming into effect. So
Mhm.
although like the Crown Act was like passed, it's only in like 27 states. Only 27
Mm.
states have actually
Wow.
adopted it. That's it. It's not even a federal law.
Mhm.
And it determine the states determine whether they not when they want to adopt it or not. You know what I'm saying? I was like, only 27 states. And what was real alarming to me is that we live in Pennsylvania, right?
Mhm.
Pennsylvania just passed it maybe less than
Mhm.
a month ago.
Yep. 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 Because I shared the post. I shared the post, and I think I mentioned a little bit about what I was saying to you today. You know what I mean? Because I remember, like I said, like the crazy times that I had, you know what I mean, just over the years, some of them experiences, But like I said, it's so wild, you know what I mean? But I don't know, it's like the world's still taking its time getting ready, or the United States, you know what I'm
Exactly,
saying?
exactly,
You
exactly,
know.
exactly. Yeah, that's why I'm just literally gonna ask you. So why do you think that it's hard to get it passed like nationally, right? Like I was literally about to
Mhm.
ask you that, right? Hey, TV. Hi, like from the
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So why do you think it's so hard, right? For it to get passed nationally.
Mhm.
Like you figure we got what 50,
Mhm.
51 technically if you add Puerto Rico into it. But it's
Mhm.
like out of all of our states, only 27 is like saying, okay, stop judging black people for their
Mhm.
hair, how they wearing their hair,
Mhm.
right?
Um, so I think that, it's like I think it comes off as like, me rebellious or, like I don't know, it's like, what's that? You're uncontrollable. Or so,
Right,
like they want to control you, they want to tame you.
right,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no, you're gonna be here, like you're gonna be like this, you have to fit in,
right.
with us. You know what I mean? You gotta fit
Absolutely,
in with them. You know what I
absolutely.
mean? No.
Yes.
Yeah, because you know what I mean, it's like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Like they want to make sure you don't have a problem with authority, you know, make sure they can keep you in line
Keep you in
and
line.
stuff.
Keep you in line. Right. Thank you, Marlene.
Yeah.
Being like number 9. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's when a lot of people are like obsessing with like gotta have the long weaves in their hair, to fit in with society. Because if you start to wear your hair natural, or you're letting your hair grow out, or you want the air fro, or you want to
Mhm.
twist it, then it's like especially in our culture, they really be looking at you like different and crazy.
Who do you think you
Right?
are?
Who do you
Who do
think
you
you
think you
are?
are?
Right? You want
Oh,
to
you
fit
think
with
you know?
us? You better straighten the hair. You know what I'm saying? And you want
Uh-huh.
at jobs would tend to hire like black women that have the straight hair, or they have the good hair, or even if it ain't theirs, if it's straight looking,
Mhm.
they'll favor them more than they would favor a sister that's coming.
Exactly.
You know, unless she,
Uh-huh. They think it ain't good law-abiding citizens.
what she said, she quit a job because they said her afro was not a good hairstyle. Child, that's crazy,
Mhm.
girl.
Wow, they said wigs or straightened. Yes,
Listen,
that's that crazy stuff.
it's crazy.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was literally fearful, like I said years ago, to even like do anything natural with my hair, just for being
Mhm.
judged, just for the fear of being
Yeah.
judged and being looked at all crazy. But
Yeah.
I have like outgrown it. It's like, listen, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do
Mhm.
with my hair, and it's like either you accept it or you don't. It doesn't change. It doesn't change my capabilities. My hair does not change my capabilities. Right?
Yeah, like, and that conditioning is crazy, and like I said, so much to where they would be on us so much about it, to where we started to be on each other about it. Because like
Right.
I said, a lot of times where I got criticism about my hair, it was from other Black women.
Mm,
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right. Like,
Mhm.
oh, her nappy hair, so she need to go get a part. Like, really?
Mhm. You know what I mean? Oh, she walking right here with an afro. And I remember, yes, but it was like, I'm gonna tell you, but like I said, it would be, other cultures and stuff. I mean, that will become walking up to me in restaurants like, oh, I just love your hair. You know what I mean? Like that, like wanting to touch it stuff.
Right.
I went through that so many times, like, hey, please don't touch my hair. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, Caucasian women going out of their way, running up to me like, ah, you know what I mean? Like they seen a superstar.
And I think a lot of it's the curiosity too, because
For sure.
curiosity.
And the courage, I think it's like they felt like the courage, the authenticity, you know what I mean? Like, well, like you just don't see that anymore. And they would just be so excited, you know what I'm saying? And then, 5 minutes later, you walking down the block and there's like a sister looking at you like, oh, you see her afro
Girl.
type stuff. And just, I had a hard time. I struggled with that just mentally. Like, what is going on in our culture? You know what I mean? So I was like over the moon the more and more I saw, like natural hair and locks, you know what I mean, like trending. It was like finally,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I was really happy about that,
Um.
even though, you know what I mean, I felt like it was like, okay, it's trending, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, but it was like hopefully like, you know what I mean, people are getting just more into the culture and stuff and not just because it's a trend, not just because of Lil Wayne or, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, type stuff
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least, yeah, they do actually. Like, how do you get your hair like that? Like all the crazy questions. It's
Mhm.
like it's crazy how like your hair can like really like impact like your income potential, or the opportunities that you get. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
Mhm.
if you and I walked into a establishment, look how we have our hair, and then another
Mhm.
lady comes in and her hair is just all silky straight, or cut it all cutesy. It's like, which one do you
Mhm.
think, basically in the way our society going, is like, which one you think would get the opportunity between the two of us?
I I mean, it depends, you know what I mean? For corporate, I would
Corporate,
say definitely,
right?
yeah, need the straight hair because they're gonna figure like, okay, she knows how to fit in.
Fit
You know what I'm
in,
saying?
fit in,
You know what I
fit
mean?
in, fit
She
in.
understands when in Rome,
Do
you
what the
know.
Romans do.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
yeah, they probably, what I'm saying, you know what I mean, they probably, expect her to know how to, code switch and all of that stuff too.
Absolutely,
You
absolutely,
know.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Whereas, they would probably think like, okay, you know what I mean, look at me and be like, all right, yeah, we ain't gonna be able to they gonna be like, all right, no, never mind, get her out of here.
Look, she could be too Afrocentric. I'll crack it up. I'll crack it up.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like she gonna come in here trying to change things.
exactly, exactly. It's like that discrimination becomes very uncomfortable. It does. Like you said, it messes with
Mhm.
your mental. Like, wow, like why am I not good enough? Why is my hair determining whether or not I can do a job? Like I really never understood that. I think now that it's become normalized that so many women or even men are embracing their natural hair that it's like you
Love
see
it.
it everywhere. You see it everywhere. So it's forcing like society to start to embrace it. Like, okay, I'm seeing so much of it that okay, this is what they do with their hair, right? Like stop
Mhm.
being judgmental. Like it took me like a while to really like start embracing. Like, my twist. I'm gonna twist it. I'm gonna let it start
Mhm.
pocket. You know what I mean? I was like, it don't
Mhm.
change. It does not change what I can do. I can still do the job
Girl.
just like anybody else. And so
Yes.
it's like that
Mhm.
fine balance for me now. It's like because I
Mhm.
decided to wear my hair natural, it's like now I feel like I need to show up a little more. Cause it's like I don't want to be
Mhm.
judged by my hair. Be like, okay, she got
Mhm.
her hair twisted and locked or whatever, whatever. But can she really do
Mhm.
it? You know what I mean? So I feel like I have to always like go above and beyond, to
Hmm.
because of the way I wear my hair. Because of the way I
Yeah.
wear my hair, right?
Yeah,
But
you also gotta think about like those young people in schools, you know what I'm saying, that be like wearing their hair natural or wearing like afros and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Wearing their hair just like bouncy and out, you know what I mean? Even if it's like blow dried and stuff, just knowing that it doesn't have to be they don't have to go through all that straightening and putting heat and chemicals and all stuff and everything. Just natural, you know what I mean? The same way every other culture, you know
mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? You know
Yep.
what I mean? Could just,
Yep.
get up,
Yep.
brush it down,
Yep.
you know what I mean, and
Yep.
go, you
Yep.
know what I mean,
Yep.
or
Yep.
comb it, sand down and go, you know what I mean? It's like instead of our hair having to be so tame, it's like why do we feel like ours
Exactly.
is something that has to be, you know what I mean? Like, no, it don't even gotta be just wear your fro.
Where you're
You know what I
from?
mean?
Where you're from?
Just wear
Where you're
your
from?
fro. Get up and go, just like the rest of them, like everybody else, you know. Yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, why we got to be spending all these time, all these hours, all this pain, you know what I mean? Going through a whole bunch just to, be able to go out in society.
Exactly, exactly. Oh, so Marlene said it's still the same in the South. Wow. So we grew
Yeah.
up down in the South, Marlene. We're
Mhm.
up north now, and I do agree that diversity is more embraced where we are because we are up north, and even where the school that I work in, their
Mhm.
whole tagline is diverse by design. So
Mhm.
they literally pull in other ethnicities and cultures and put us all under one roof because they want to like be universal to say that we accept all, right? And I'm noticing a
Mhm.
lot too, like you said with the young ladies, they're coming out with the afro, they feel more confident. Like
I love it.
I'm seeing a lot more afros now, right? Um,
Mhm.
I'm seeing kids coming to school with locks a lot more. And you know what else is
Mhm.
becoming real popular? That used to be real popular when we were growing up in the 70s and the 80s. The girls with the braids and the beads, right?
Mhm.
It's becoming
Mhm.
really popular, right? Amongst our community.
Yep.
So we're getting there. It's taking baby steps, but we're definitely getting there. We're definitely getting there, especially with the Crown Act passed in a lot of states. It's like it's kind of taken away that okay, I can't discriminate against you because of your hair type of factor. You know,
Mhm.
I think has been helpful, even though a lot of states refuse. They're refusing to pass
Mhm.
it. And it could be a lot of those down in the South or the Midwest and stuff like that. Be like, no, you know what I'm saying? Me and my wigs, I get raises. Oh wow, that's crazy.
Wow. Mhm.
Next raise, I'm getting locks. Woo, child.
Mhm.
I know that's right. I know that's right. But it's wild. It's wild that they are not even passing it federally though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Passing it first. It's
Mhm.
like it's basically up to like the local in the states to say, all right, we're gonna pass
Mhm.
it that we cannot discriminate against your hair and stuff like that.
Yeah, because a lot of places they like, look, no, you're not getting that freedom to just be able to do what you want to do.
Okay? God forbid. God
You know what I'm saying?
forbid.
You know what I mean? You coming here with an afro this big? Oh hell no! You like you better tame that.
listen,
You better straighten that.
listen,
You
listen,
know.
listen.
Because, it's like, the hair, what I mean? I think a lot of times, like I said, what I had been told, it's like they see it as a statement. It's like you making a statement. You know what I'm saying? What I mean, if you come, walking in with a big old afro, you know what I'm saying? Even if
Mm,
you put a part in it, you know what I'm saying? What I mean? It's like making a statement,
right,
and what I mean? It's like, what is that statement? Depends on the person, you
right,
know what I'm saying?
right.
What I mean? But it's received in a certain type of way.
Yes.
What I mean? Regardless of what your message, you might not even be thinking about it like that. You like, look, what I mean? Look, I picked my hair out. I did my hair. You know what I'm saying? When they be like, how come you didn't do your hair? No, I did my hair. I picked it. I moisturized it. I
Yup.
combed it. It's just
Yup.
how it is.
Yup.
You know what
Yup.
I'm saying? you know,
Yup.
it's
Yup.
just how it is. Even if you pull it into a ponytail, if you can get it in a ponytail,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? When I would put my hair, so I used to like, when I have a fro, because my fro I had one of the big fros,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like, brush it and comb it and stuff, but it was a lot to do. But I would like, pull it back and what I mean, put what I mean, something around it, and I would like squeeze that into my fro, like good get. But I had this big old puff ball,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, and stuff, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. And it's like as cute as I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Everybody else didn't always feel that way, you know? But it was like, all right, what I mean? I can't just pull it back and it just hang in some long ponytail. Like, no, I pull it back and it's this big puff ball,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and stuff. But it's like, yeah, like, it was just like I said, I was like, how is my natural hair, the way that it just grows out of my head,
Your head.
inappropriate? Like,
Exactly.
why is that inappropriate? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Where like whereas the white girl next to me, you can tell she just washed her hair and walked out the door this morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like she came to class with her hair literally wet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's not appropriate.
Okay.
It's okay for her, but it's not okay for me. I gotta go through the extra mile.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and
Mhm.
they'll understand even if you're wearing your hair natural, you still gotta take the necessary steps to keep it healthy. You know what I'm saying? Keeping your
Right.
scalp moisturized, making sure keep
Hmm.
your hair washing condition. Still the same steps, it's just in a different type of way. And for me, it was
Right.
easier now because, like I said, I did so much to my hair over my lifetime that it's like
Hmm.
holding on to my hair for dear life. So letting it
Yes.
stay natural and twisting it is the way of holding on to my hair because
Oh.
so much I've done throughout my life. Oh my God. I was like, I am
Uh-huh.
that I still got hair.
Girl, but I'm gonna say that's why, child, when people be like, "How long have you had your locks and stuff?" I've literally been wearing locks since 2022. You know what I'm saying? And like, if I didn't cut my locks, they would probably be like down to my ankles. You know what I mean? But I trim them and stuff. You know what I mean? Just to keep it manageable. You know what I mean? But I don't know if I would ever like probably not have locks. You know what I mean? Because when I say this is get up and go.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
that part.
It is, you know what
Yes.
I mean? It's so like get up and go. I woke up like this, you know what I'm saying? What I mean, and what I mean, and then it's like all those crazy myths and stuff, you know what I mean, about people with locks not washing their hair. I don't know where that
I
ever
don't know
came
where that
from.
came from.
You know what I'm saying?
Where
Because
that
I'm
came
like, you know what I mean?
from. Hmm.
Yeah, maybe like in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But it was like, I still, even like when I wash it, and you know how like, because it would unravel. And I
Right.
would just like,
Right.
but like go find the ends and work my way back in and just like give it a little twist.
Yup.
It's not hard to do. Like, it's just the simplest and easiest of hairstyles I have ever had. The most
Child.
like, yes, it's just
Child.
very manageable, and it was because I had another daughter. It was after Isis was born, where I was like, okay, me having to do my hair, Tara's hair, and then Isis' hair. I was like, okay, nah, like this is too much. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, we all gonna have locks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my
Mm-hmm.
son had locks.
I know
We
what.
all had locks.
Y'all, oh, y'all was the Lock family. Yes, I remember. I remember. First time when I saw it was Isis that stopped with her locks first. I remember. and she had the
Yeah,
nice little
yeah,
short afro. I was like, your mommy cut
uh-huh.
your locks? What? That,
Well, you know what? She actually had cut her own hair because, like I said, they being in, in American schools, American school system,
yeah,
and with other children that did not have locks and they had a lot of questions,
yeah,
what I mean? And I feel like she kind of had got tired of that,
yeah.
me too. So then it was like, all right, like she wanted to cut her hair and just have it regular. So then, but Isis, she was fly child. She cut all her hair off and she had kept like some of the braids here in the front and
Uh-huh.
some of her locks in the front and she would, had her little bangs and stuff. She had a lock bang with an afro.
Uh-huh.
I
I
was like,
remember.
that girl was too fly. I played with her for days.
I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. Then she had eventually cut that off and, and just start over and stuff again. Yeah, yeah.
Remember. I remember. I
Yeah.
remember.
And then Tara had actually combed her like people say you can't comb your locks out. Tara combed her locks out. What's that from ninth grade to 10th grade? She's because so first she had combed out the front and she was just wearing like just the bangs. She would put a roller in it and she had the bangs in the front and the rest of it was in locks, right?
Uh-huh.
And so then, from the summer after ninth grade, she spent all summer combing her locks out, and she had hair down here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that was after we had like trimmed it and stuff. You know what I mean? But she had combed her locks out. Started 10th grade. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they was like, "Wow, what happened to your locks?"
So did
You
she
know,
wet it when she as she was doing it? Because like I said,
and,
my hair had started locking. So that was my goal. Like at first I just was kept taking it out, retwisting it, take it, wash it,
yeah,
retwist it, and then find out it's so time
mhm,
consuming. I was like, you know what? I'm just let it lock because I'm tired of
yeah,
taking it out and retwist it. It's so time consuming. So now that
yeah,
I can get in the shower and wash my hair, whip my hair like this, put conditioner
uh huh,
in it and everything. And then, like you said, when it starts to like unravel, just go through your roots and just like retwist it like all the way down. So I'm like, child,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. She used conditioner and like a needle.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
just like picked it out from the bottom, worked her way up, and had all this like hair. Yes, I was like, wow.
Wow.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, yep.
Okay.
And she had and combed them out,
Wow.
combed her locks out.
Wow. Yeah, I know because now
Yeah,
she be wearing her hair all slick and stuff. Uh-huh. I was like, man, I
yeah,
remember when y'all was the lock ladies, lovely ladies. And little
yeah,
Abasi had his locks. Now he got his hair in these curly cues looking all handsome and stuff. Um,
yeah.
yeah. But I think like because of all the transitions that I was going through, like with my hair, like even when I met
Mhm,
your brother-in-law, like I was wearing my hair like these different ways, trying to fit in
mhm,
with society, being acceptable,
mhm,
what's with the society view of your hair as being a black woman. So um he had gotten used to like seeing me wearing my hair, in that stereotypical way where they expect, black women should have their hair straightened and all this other stuff.
mhm.
I started like wearing it more natural. It's like he kind of was like, like wow, like like okay, you gonna change your hair? I'm like, no, no. Or he would say
Uh-huh.
something like, baby, I'll pay for you to get your hair done. I'm like, I'm okay.
Oh.
Like
He wasn't used to it.
we had a few of those conversations because he was used to me going to go get my hair done like every 2 weeks. And it was always like fried or curled and had my layers and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So he had gotten accustomed to that. And when I just stopped, was like, no, I'm just going natural. Like he just like, okay, you know what I mean? But I think he's
Yes.
gotten used to it now because I'm like, this is part of my identity. Like I'm tired. Like, I'm tired of putting like straight and hot. Not hot combs, but like hot curlers and like flat irons in my hair. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
Mhm.
tired. Like I'm not getting any younger. And the more you do that to your hair, the more you're weakening your hair. So
Mhm.
that happy medium,
But
like,
shoot, look, he can still pay for the, you know what I mean, some, a wash and condition. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, now that the hair salons, they do all kinds of stuff now. They steam your hair, they massage your scalp, do a whole bunch of stuff. And you can still leave out just as natural. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. Yes. I've been like, yeah, somebody can pay for me to go get my hair done. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think
Nah, I be
when
doing
he
it
was
myself.
offered,
Yeah.
it was more when I was having them flat iron hairstyles. Like the flat
Yeah.
iron stuff, like look at with the silky press and all that stuff, right? It's
Uh-huh.
like, oh yeah, he was willing to pay for that. Oh man, wow, 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 wow. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Hey, Aaron. My buddy that came
Oh,
in.
hello. Yeah, I saw it to my Aaron. Yeah, welcome in, welcome in. Right, but yeah, yeah. It's like how do we start challenging the systems that were never created with us in mind? You know what
But
I'm saying?
yeah, how?
It's like how do we? It was never created for us. It was never
For sure. And they trying their best not to consider us. You know what I mean?
exactly.
It's like you got people like that's why I love Michelle Obama. Oh
Mm,
my
mm,
gosh. You
mm.
know what I'm saying? And like I say, she be wearing her braids and stuff, and she talks about that too.
Yes, she does.
This same conversation she's had this conversation.
Yes, she has. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. She was
Yeah.
very talking about that, like being in the White House. She
Mm-hmm.
had to fall into that stereotypical look. Like she had to wear her hair a certain way, look a certain way. You know what I mean? If
Mm-hmm.
she tried to go anything outside of what was expected of her, then it wasn't normal. She was
Yeah.
that crazy. So she's like, now that she's not in that light anymore, she's like, I wear my hair the right way too. She's like,
Yeah.
I'm still a black woman. I'm still a sister that loves wearing my hair in locks and stuff. Like she be wearing
Uh,
the bomb. I be like, girl, yes,
yeah. She love her braids.
yes, she does. Yes, she does. She was like, but she could not
Yeah.
be herself. She could not be herself
Yeah.
because of the way society views it. Like we're in this world where we're supposed to look a certain way. That they don't want you to really embrace your hair. It gotta be
Yeah.
straight hair or something, or curly hair is the way to go. Like everybody should have straight
Mhm.
curly hair all the time. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like don't.
Yeah, but I'm glad we getting over it, you know what I mean? Because, like I say, I feel like, people, they are recognizing,
Yeah,
different
yeah,
stuff. And, people, they're tired of, doing these unhealthy acts.
yes,
You know what
yes.
I'm saying? You know what I mean? Just to try to, be accommodating for other cultures, you
Absolutely,
know.
absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, people is tired of
Yeah,
it.
people tired. People tired. Like
Yeah.
so, like we're gonna talk about like the solutions to it and like feeling empowered, right?
Hmm.
Because it's like we like what could we do like as like individuals and like in our communities and as a sisterhood, right? So
Hmm.
it's like as us as black women, like we could start with just teaching our children our
Definitely.
hair is beautiful. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
for
That
starters, yes.
starters teaching our children that our hair is beautiful, right? And I find myself
Mhm,
doing that a lot with when I see like my young black children come in and they got their hair like I have a lot of students who have locks in their hair. One
mhm.
student she came in, her mom took her mom had her hair braided. And she took her braids out and she came with this big old beautiful afro. And I was like, oh my
Nice.
God, your hair is beautiful. You know what I mean? Like
I love it, yes, encourage him.
highlighting it, because she never did it the all school year. She's never worn her hair that way. But I stepped and was like, girl, your hair is beautiful. You know what I mean? Just to
Mhm,
like we got just embrace that fro, girl. Embrace it.
mhm,
It looks amazing on you, right? So I really try to
mhm.
highlight and uplift, especially y'all young girls, because some kids, like I said, they can be cruel, but like, oh my God, your hair look crazy. At the end of the day, all this
Mhm,
crazy stuff. But when I start seeing girls with them real natural styles like that, it's like
mhm.
I love the hair. Looks good.
That's so beautiful,
Yeah,
Mika,
yeah.
and because you work with kindergartners, and
Yup.
so it's like now it's kindergartners with locks now. Like I said, like when mine was in kindergarten, they was the only one in the class.
Child.
You know what I'm
Listen,
saying? So it's
listen.
like it's a whole new day and time, man. The rules are gonna have to change. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? And it's like
Absolutely.
because I just see it, it being much more of us at the top that'll be able to just very easily throw those rules out the window.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Most of my young men are wearing braids and locks in their hair and stuff. The young ladies with hair with the beads are wearing the afros or the afro puffs. I'm like, yes, y'all,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, do that.
Yes. I'm like, your hair's cute. I said to the girls and the boys, like they come in with their hair all braided and twisted up, your hair's cute. Yes, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yup, yup. Yep, yep, yep,
Yes.
yeah. And we can like literally like start advocating in our workplaces and stuff, right? And especially the schools, right? Um,
Mhm.
to like here have like clear and inclusive policy. Like so that's one thing I can appreciate like where I work at now that everybody
Mhm.
like is included. Like I said, I think it's empowering not only the students but the staff to embrace like their hair. Like I'm starting to see a shift in like ladies wearing their hair. Like well, I'm starting to see ladies wearing like the big hair wraps and stuff like that on their hair and all that. Like
Oh,
right,
yes.
yes, yes.
Oh, go ahead and be African.
Like being like
Yes.
one came with the whole dashiki and all that stuff for. I was like, okay,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. And like let's normalize
Let's
that. You know what I'm
normalize
saying?
that.
Not
Yes,
just, like
yes,
don't wait till Odun Day or, Juneteenth or February, Black History Month. Like let's normalize, doing that and being, dressing that way 365.
absolutely,
You
absolutely,
know.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I can say like growing up, like especially like with like Angel with the girls and stuff like that. You know, Angel always had that thick curly hair, and I remember
Mhm.
she kept asking like, "When can I flat iron my hair?" Work out. I was like, "No, no." Like I would let
Yes.
her do it for like the longest
Mhm.
time. For the longest time, I was like,
Mhm.
"No, you do not need to flat iron your hair. You have natural, beautiful, thick, curly hair."
Yeah.
You know, so it took.
People always want to see how would it look straight? How long would it be if it's straight?
Now,
You
listen,
know?
girl, listen. When I finally did it, she was like maybe 14. When I finally let her start getting her hair flat iron and stuff, right? But then when I noticed that when she started to want to go back to her natural curly hair,
Yes.
it was struggling. It was struggling to curl and have that curl pattern that it used to have. That it was so accustomed to having people
Yes.
14 years just by putting it and straightening it. It
Yeah.
really, really. Yup, she said, yeah, that was me. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you talk about like messing with your natural state, like it definitely can like shift it when you like put that
Yeah.
stuff in it, right? So
Yeah.
it's like now like pretty much trying to like support like the lawmakers and saying, you know what, y'all need to support the Crown Act, and stop forcing our black women to like do much to their hair that they really shouldn't do. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like really trying to support them because like it's ways you can. Like you can write letters to like the mayor's office and the governor's office and be like, listen, I'm a sister that want to wear my hair natural and we haven't passed that law, whatever, for protection. I'm nervous about wearing my hair naturally because of the fact that, I might be discriminated in my workplace or something like that, or I might try to go for another.
Mhm.
It's like sometimes you got to reach out to these lawmakers and just, put your opinion out there, put light
Right.
on things that they probably not even think about and stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But it definitely makes it
Mhm.
easier for the states that have adopted it, you know. Because
Mhm.
now because it's like the law has been passed, like if you're being discriminated or something against, you can like report it. You can,
Mm.
yeah, if you're being discriminated based on how you wear your hair. So that's the good.
Yeah.
So the other states do have to get on board, you know, but the
Mhm.
states that definitely are on board already, like, if you are a victim of being discriminated because of your hair, like report that and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
But
It's a shame it's only 27 of them. That means it's still 23 that ain't.
that is not exactly that part. That part.
Yeah.
That's something that most of them are refusing to. This started in 2019, girl. We are about to
Yeah.
go to 2026. 2020. This
Yeah.
started in 2019. All right, and it's like you said, still
Mhm.
23 that have not embraced it or so.
Yeah.
So still got a long ways to go. Still got a long way to go, right?
Mhm.
But it's like right now
Yep.
it's just about us celebrating our hair, right? Celebrating our hair,
Yeah.
not just styling it,
Celebrate
celebrating it.
that. Yes. Yes.
Celebrating it.
Celebrate. Yes.
Celebrating. Yep.
Yes. Your
Exactly.
natural.
Exactly.
Your natural
Exactly.
self.
You said my hair was so heat damaged in high school that it stopped curling. Exactly. I remember,
Oh,
Annie. I
right.
remember. Because of the flat ironing and the straightening you did to your natural curly hair. Yes. I remember.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, like just one time straightening it can change it.
mm-hmm.
For me, like I said, like it was that one time when I had straightened it. and it was just different afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then
It wasn't
your
until
hair
I think
better.
I had ended up yeah, I had ended up like I had trimmed it again after that, but I ended up locking it shortly after that too. You know what I mean? Because like yeah, my hair was a lot to do. My hair was a lot to do, and it was like times I would just like wear afro for like 2 months. You know what I mean? Type stuff, and then it was like I finally like I would twist it up. It would start to lock, and I would take it out right before it started to lock and stuff. But I went through that like when this girl used to be telling me because I was going skating all the time and stuff. And this girl was like, "Oh, you should lock your hair, da da." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna never lock my hair, da da da." She was like, "Oh, you can do all the same stuff." And I was like, "You can't comb it." I was so against locks at the time. And then I finally, about a year later, I was
Yeah,
just like, "All right." I had twisted it up that one time, and I just left the twist in. Left the twist in, like I said, and I was washing it with the twist in there and stuff, you know what I mean? And then just let it start locking. And it been locked ever since. That was 2004.
that was so big. I was like, you ain't got to wrong me to locking my hair, child. I never would have thought it. Like a few years ago, That's why even when I started playing around with it, I was twist it up, wash it, take it out, twist it up.
Mhm.
I was like, I'm not
Yeah,
committing to that. I'm not.
yeah,
Now I'll be like, child, let it lock.
yes.
Good and law. Listen, let's. I was like, I don't have to like do a lot of make. Like I'll get up and I'll spray mist like my rice water stuff all in my hair, my scalp and
Uh-huh.
stuff, and my oils, and I just brush it up, brush it up, brush it up. So eventually,
Yep,
I'm gonna have to take it out and start retwisting instead, but because it's growing up
yes,
so much in the front. But I was like, I just brush it up, brush it up, brush it up.
yes.
Like my ponytail has been holding on for dear life because I'm like, when I take my ponytail out, I gotta go and retwist my hair from the rough scalp all over again. So,
Yes.
so right now she's getting a wet and brush, wet and brush,
Uh-huh. Yep, that's
wet,
all I do.
wet and brush.
Like I haven't missed it because I caught myself trying to curl it up, but these curls is falling already. But usually that's what I'll do. Like I'll like spray it. You know what I mean? I got like my oil and water spray.
Mm-hmm.
And then I, just like, oil it and stuff and then brush it. Yes, I brush my hair because that's how like, that's, my little method for trying to keep the lint, out of my hair
Yeah,
and stuff, you know what I mean? So I like, brush it and just, try to help it to be, more luxurious.
yeah. Let's just lock. Let's
Yeah.
lock.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's like I really appreciate our listeners for being here. We have been talking about the Crown Act, right?
Yeah.
Having hair freedom, right? Protecting our hair, protecting our heritage, protecting our community, right? Because our
Mhm.
hair is our crown and our glory, our kind of
Yeah.
our glory. So it's like one thing that I want everybody to know, just to embrace, is just saying like my hair is not unprofessional, right? Because
Mhm.
people look at you and they think that you're not professional, that you can't do a job because your hair. So it's like your hair is not unprofessional, right? It does not sway whether or not you can do a job. And
Mhm.
and it's like stop thinking that I got caught into that for a long time. That my hair is not professional. My hair is not professional. I
Mhm.
wear my hair a certain way. I wear my hair a certain way. You know what I mean? No. Like listen, it does not impact how I do my job, right? And stop thinking like your hair is a distraction. Like say my hair is not a distraction because it shouldn't be. Like you can wear
Mhm.
do what you want with your hair. You know what I'm saying? I've seen like people now is getting to this thing where they like coloring their hair, coming with all different colors. You know what I'm saying? And they're professional people.
Yeah.
The blues and the pinks and the greens. I'll be like, okay,
Mhm.
you better be you and represent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yep. 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 And just think about,
Yeah,
just say like, my hair is not a problem, because it's not. Your hair is not a problem.
right.
Your hair is
Like you said,
not
it's
a
a
problem.
crown, so wear it proudly.
Exactly. 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 You say
Mhm.
my hair is my power. It's my superpower.
Mhm.
It's my power. Right. Yep.
Mhm.
So just want you,
Yeah.
if not taking anything from this, just show up. Right. Show up in your
Mhm.
authentic beauty with your hair. Right.
Mhm.
And
And I gotta say though too, you know what I mean? Because because there's a lot of ball sisters out there too. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so it's
Yes.
like, it's like it's just showing up, in your authenticity.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? What I mean? Shaved, locks, froze, twists, braids, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is,
Yep.
you know what I mean? But it's like just being you. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
if you decide that you want to straighten your hair, and if you decide that you want to, rock your wigs or whatever, you know what I mean? Then you can do that too, you know what I mean? But it's just being true to who you are and what you feel like doing, and not just about trying to accommodate other folks. You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yep.
It's
Yep.
like that's the part.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. That's why I just said I just want to highlight that you show up in your authentic beauty. You know what I mean? Show up in your authentic beauty, right? Yep.
Hmm.
Giving other sisters the permission to be who they are when it comes
Yes,
to their hair.
please.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever that
Yeah.
looks like for you.
Right,
That
right.
looks like for you, right? So this is why we were just talking about the crown act, just being able to like, wear your hair how you want to, having that freedom, you know, with humility, and not feeling
Yeah,
discriminated against.
exactly.
Whew, so
Yeah. Yes.
yes, but that crown act is more than just a bill, y'all. It's more than just a bill, right? It should
Hmm.
be a movement. It
Hey.
literally a
Yes.
movement, right?
Uh-huh.
Creating a respectful, open
Yeah.
world for natural hair.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
I love it.
indeed, yes, indeed, yes, indeed. But yeah, that was our topic today. That was our topic today. The Crown Act.
Yeah.
For many of y'all that haven't heard of it, we tried to break it down for a little bit just to give you an idea what the Crown Act actually is. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you for being here. I know Janae appreciate you for being here. You could
Yeah.
have been anywhere in these YouTube streets and you were alive. And for that, it is all love, all love. So
We appreciate you.
I
Yes.
definitely appreciate you. And I always say if you have not done anything for yourself, please do something for you. Please do
Love
something
her
for you.
review.
Love on you. Love on you. Yes.
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 Treat yourself. Hug yourself.
Treat yourself. Take care of yourself. Life is not promised, so always show up for you. Show up for you. Do what you need to do for you. So, with that being said, definitely
Yes.
look forward to seeing you guys on another Sister Talk. We
You
always
never know what we're going to talk about.
know we're gonna talk about. Yes, ma'am. We're gonna talk about. So I want you to have an
Yes.
amazing, amazing rest of your week. Again, I'm TB from TB's Life, and that is my lovely sister and co-host, Janae Goddess Life from Artistic Healing Expressions, rocking her long, luscious locks. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But everybody have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you soon. See
Thank you.
you
Bye.
guys. Bye. All love. Yeah.